this hotel really needs some new furniture. I'm going to go to the store and I'm now going to invest thousands of dollars into getting new furniture for my hotel room because I don't really like that chair. Or I don't really like the color of the bedspread, so I'm going to go and buy a new one for hundreds of dollars. Why does that sound funny? Why do we not do that? Why do we not decorate our hotel room? Why do we not get attached to our hotel room? Does anyone walk into a hotel room and then get really, really attached to their hotel bed and not want to leave it? And when the time comes to leave the hotel room, just can't let go of that bed? My question to you is, why does that not happen? Why do you not go to the store and buy lots and lots of food and stock it up and furnish it and try to make it look amazing and put all this investment and all these attachments in your hotel room? The reason is very simple. It's because you know that you're only there for a temporary stay and then you're leaving. And it's that mindset that I'm leaving, that makes it easy for you not to get too attached. And that's the reason why you don't invest all this money and all this effort into the hotel room. And then when you leave, does anyone shed a tear because they're leaving their hotel room? Has anyone done that? No. This is the mindset of a traveler. The Prophet ﷺ, in his wisdom, is advising us to be in this life just like that. We know we're here for a while. Obviously we're here, we look around, we're here, yes, it's dunya. How do we know it's dunya? Well, we bleed, we cry, we lose. It's obviously not Jannah, right? But we know that we're leaving. And so the mindset is natural that yes, you interact with the dunya, but you know that you're headed somewhere else. It's this concept of what you seek is still beyond. Because when you're on a trip, have you ever been on a trip and stopped at a rest area before? Yes? Now sometimes that rest area isn't the cleanest or the nicest, right? It might not have the best food or the best facilities, but you stop there. Does anyone sit and complain and, try to, make a big fuss? No, you use the facility and you leave. Because you know that it's temporary, and you know that it's not a big deal. Why? Because what I seek is still beyond. What I seek is still beyond. My destination is not this rest area. My destination is beyond. We, unfortunately, are like a people who stopped at a rest area and got amnesia, right? We completely forgot that we're actually headed somewhere else. I just came back from an amazing drive, and it's like on our way there, we stopped at a rest area. We know it's not our destination. It's a short stop and you continue. But imagine if you just forgot. So many of us are like that. We've just forgotten. We got into the rest area and then we just completely forgot that we're actually headed somewhere else. And we become so attached to the rest area. It's like a person who gets in a car, and what's the purpose of a car? Tell me what's the purpose of a car, other than being shiny and all nice and everything like that. But what's the actual purpose of a car? The actual purpose of a car is to take you from where you are to where you want to go, right? Now what happens if you get in that car and you look around and you get so distracted by the beautiful leather seats, right? It's like you get in the car and you look around and you say, wow, look at these seats. Look at the steering wheel. And you never even turn on the car. It sounds funny, right? But this is exactly how many of us are in dunya. Dunya, this whole life and everything in it is like that car. The purpose of it is not for us to stay in it and fall in love with it and get attached to it and try to compete in it. The purpose is for it to take us somewhere. It's just a bridge, right? It's a vehicle. And so what we do though is we get so distracted by the vehicle itself, by the leather seats and the steering wheel, that we never turn on the car. We are so caught up with our money and our status and the people around us and what they think of us that we have completely forgotten what we're doing here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, Allah tells us clearly what we're doing here.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. The English translation of that is, in the name of Allah, most compassionate, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most compassionate, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and those who go not astray. Ameen. Okay, with that, I welcome you to another episode of the History of Community Life, Diversity amongst Americans in New England. I am Hassan Rashid, your host, and I'll be here with you for approximately 25 more minutes. It's excellent being here with you, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here at CCTV daily. So with that, once again, I greet you with the cordial of peace and sanity, and that is Assalamu alaikum all over the universal Islamic world. Okay, Before we get into a subject of our broadcast today, I'd like to remind you that there are some things here that should interest you that's happening right here at CCTV. You can come here and come on in and host your own TV show, and I urge you to come on in and learn how to host your own live TV show at Cambridge Community Television, 438 Massachusetts Avenue in Central Square, and talk to Cambridge about the issues that matter to you. No technical experience necessary. Weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly slots available. Tune in for afternoon evening shows Sunday through Friday on Channel 9 in Cambridge, and streaming live at cctvcambridge.org. Call 617-661-6900 to sign up, or visit cctvcambridge.org /host/host for more information. Once again, host your own live TV show. If you'd like to come in and find out how you can do all those things, you come in and talk to somebody at Cambridge about the issues that matter to you, okay? And that includes hosting your own TV show at Cambridge Community Television, 438 Massachusetts Avenue, right here in the heart of Central Square, okay? Another thing I'd like to remind you that the latest issue of Spirit Change is still out there, and this is what the cover looked like. It's a reflection on the past year. I guess each one of those little pictures up there represents a month from last year. So Cambridge vendors, Spirit Change vendors are out there, and you know the weather's pretty bad, and they need every ounce of help that they can get. So if you see one of the Spirit Change vendors, please pick up a copy of the latest Spirit Change news. Okay, good until the 19th. Then there's a new issue out. Okay, 19th of January. Okay, I'm Hassan Rashid. You know, and this is well, the other alternative week is Human Service News and Information. And you know, on the Human Service News and Information broadcast, we were talking about an alternative human service mechanism, funding mechanism that will help homeless people get off the street, and which will help them and provide them with housing, etc., etc. And that is the Homeless Trust Fund. I know a lot of you have heard me talk about Homeless Trust Fund, establishing a Homeless Trust Fund right here in Cambridge and statewide, all over Massachusetts. Well, last night we had it out with the City Council, the Human Service and Veterans Committee, and they're interested in discussion and conversation that relates to establishing a Homeless Trust Fund here in Cambridge. So right now, the prospects we don't know. It's there's a question mark of how far are we going to go with this homeless trust fund proposal. But I tell you, that's what I'm here for right now, to tell you what you can do to assist in establishing a homeless trust fund ordinance here in Cambridge, whereas much needed revenue to build homeless housing and help homeless people, period, will take effect once this ordinance is created. Okay, and it's self-perpetuating. It will take care of itself, believe me. Okay, I like to read what the United Nations declared in Article 25, okay, of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay, Article 25, quote, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his or her control. So that's what the United Nations has declared on the rights of everyone, every single one, to have a roof over their head, housing. So that's what this homeless trust fund will do. It will do that, but if established in Cambridge and statewide. I want to read portions of an interest letters. Some folks who are interested, supported the Homeless Trust Fund Initiative, what they wrote about it, okay? And they wrote to Councilman McGovern. He is the chair of the Human Service and Veterans Committee, and he's also the vice mayor of the city of Cambridge. So he's a very important figure as far as homeless initiatives is concerned, okay, here in the Cambridge region, Middlesex County. Okay, quote, it says, as a Cambridge resident and someone who works to prevent and end homelessness, I am writing to express my support for Homeless Trust Fund and Homeless Trust Fund Advisory Task Force in Cambridge. So, what my purpose now today is to bringing this all to your attention is to have you contact the City Council, Councilman McGovern, and tell them you support having a homeless trust fund here in Cambridge. Okay, so in order to do that, you're going to need some contact information, how to get in touch with the City Council and how to get in touch with the Councilman Mark McGovern. Okay, so Councilman Mark McGovern's email is mmc large case G OVERN at cambridgema.gov. Okay, the City Council's email address, contact information is COUNCIL@cambridge.gov. So, in order to voice your support for Homeless Trust Fund, I advise you contact Senator Mark McGovern and the City Council. Once again, that's Mark McGovern, Vice Mayor and Chair of the Human Service and Veterans Committee, where the Homeless Trust Fund proposal ordinance sits right now at the desk of the Human Service Veterans and the Veterans Committee. And so in order to move it forward for a vote on the Cambridge City Council to become a established law or public law, an ordinance, you have to contact them and tell them you support a Homeless Trust Fund and Homeless Trust Fund Advisory Committee. That's Mark McGovern, Vice Mayor Mark McGovern, MMC, large case GOVERN at cambridgema.gov. Okay, and the City Council, okay, so you contact the City Council by emailing COUNCIL at cambridge.gov to voice your concern and support for a Homeless Trust Fund or Homeless Trust Fund Advisory Committee. Okay, so if you'd like to see a Homeless Trust Fund established all over Massachusetts, statewide, you can contact your local elected official, state representative. That's a state senator, state representative, legislator. So you contact them and you tell them, you says, well, you would like to support a human trust fund statewide in Massachusetts. You can also contact the governor's office. Okay, that's mass.gov, the governor, and tell him you support legislation for a Homeless Trust Fund, become a Homeless Trust Fund Act statewide, and they'll understand. So we're going to try to bring this to your attention later before we run out of time in the broadcast once again. So, but you're going to definitely be hearing more about Homeless Trust Fund and how you can participate in establishing Homeless Trust Fund in your area. And I suggest, number one, you contact your elected officials right here, city, statewide, and tell them you support a Homeless Trust Fund, Homeless Trust Fund Advisory Committee. All right, thank you very much. Okay, Muslim Girl Scout troop provide unique opportunities in Malden. Okay, each meeting of the newly formed Muslim Girl Scout troop in Malden begin with their prayer divided into daisies, brownies, and junior troops inside small classrooms at the Malden Islamic Center. The girls recited Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha, that's those verses that you hear me recite when I come on the air every time for the history, community life, and diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. That's Al-Fatiha, the opening chapter of the Quran, praising the one God who guides them to the straight path. Once they're finished, the girls raise the pointer, middle, and ring finger on their right hands and says the Girl Scout promise with one small tweak: to serve Allah and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scouts law. Then in unison, they recited the Girl Scout law. I would do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considering and caring, to make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. Okay, for the rest of their meetings, the girls work to earn badges and skills like first aid, money management. They plan trips like the one they took to Legoland in November. They strategize to sell their mints and caramel delights. We're just adding our own Islamic twist to it, said Brownie's co-leader Jeanette Menayoy of Everett, who registered the troop with the Girl Scouts at Eastern Mass last spring. So much of Girl Scouts' value is what Islam is teaching you. The group, which held its first meeting in October, traces roots to the Facebook group for Muslim mothers in the greater Boston area, where discussion of the idea began in early 2015. Ultimately, there was so much demand for Girl Scouts that some families had to be turned away. Okay, Nebda Edelad of Winthrop, who helped from the new troop, had been driving her daughter an hour south to the Islamic Center in New England and Quincy for a weekly Girl Scouts meeting. So that's Muslim Girl Scout troop provides unique opportunities in Malden. All praises due to Allah, alhamdulillah. Okay, New England Council Chairman, Brother Muhammad Abdurrahman, passes away. Okay, Janazah prayers will be held at the Islamic School of Rhode Island. Please make dua for him, okay? Residents of Rutland, an aging blue-collar town of 16,000 people, that's Rutland, Vermont, I think that is, are deeply divided over the plans to resettle Syrian refugees there, okay? A New England community prepares for the arrival of refugees. Next month, this came out December. So this month, January, a mix of Syrian and Iraqi refugees will begin arriving in Rutland, Vermont. They'll be the first of 100 that will be resettled there over the next year, though there's been loud opposition to the plan, and the aging blue-collar city of 16,000 proponents remain optimistic, and many have been volunteering long hours to ensure the plan succeeds. Okay, alhamdulillah, all praises due to Allah. So don't forget to recite dua for the passing away of the New England Council of Islamic Schools Chairman, Brother Muhammad Abdurrahman. Okay, Mass Chief Justice to Muslims courts will stand up for your rights, okay? The Massachusetts Supreme Court Judicial Court Justice Ralph Gaines in the 214 file, okay, that's, we don't have the photo here, okay, that's, continuing, Massachusetts Supreme Justice Court Chief Justice Ralph Gant delivered a message of solidarity to Muslims Boston Friday amid concerns about Islamic phobia and following a Islamophobia and hate crime. So once again, that thing has come out again. That's hate crimes. And last week we discussed how if you experienced or witnessed a hate crime or a victim of hate crime, how you can get help. So we're gonna eventually, if time permits, we're gonna tell you how you can get help if you have become a victim of hate crime or you have witnessed hate crime, etc. Okay, getting back to the article. Following a midday prayer service, the state highest judge assured congregants at the Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center in Roxbury of their rights. Gantz said, although some people may feed into anger, fear, and hate, the state judicial branch stands with them. Okay, you do not stand alone, Gantz told over 800 worshipers. You have a constitution and laws to protect your rights to practice your religion, to protect you from discrimination and the denial of your equal rights, and to protect you from acts of violence that might be committed because of your religion or your nation of origin. Gant also told the crowd that the state court system is taking steps to ensure that it is treating everyone fairly. He said the courts are working to understand and diminish implicit bias that may affect our decisions. Gant said the courts are also restraining judges and clerks to become more culturally competent so that everyone is treated fairly under the law. It was a message that resonated slowly with Zayed Yassin, Brookline, who attended the service. I thought it was a very moving and very thoughtful. Yassin said, I think a lot of what's going on in American politics is not consistent with America that I know and believe in. And it was really nice to hear Justice Gant speak from a position of authority and responsibility to reaffirm the kind of values that I think America is about. Yasser's wife, Usma, said after the election she was walking along Newbury Street when she saw two teenagers in a car yelling obscenities at people and shouting, we won, you guys can all go home. It's today's climate I do worry about, she said. My mother wears a scarf and we've not been encouraging her to take the Green Line these days because we worry about people being hostile. Gant said it is important for victims of hate crimes or discrimination to speak up and go to authorities so their rights can be honored. Legal rights can wither from silence, inaction, and fear, he said. So that's that ugly two-headed hydra of hate raising its head in eastern Massachusetts and New England, so there's a lot you can do about it. But we won't talk about that at this episode because we're running out of time. But I want to get back to what I'm telling you about a homeless trust fund. So if you'd like to support a homeless trust fund, you can call your city elected officials or email them or contact them, however you contact your elected officials. You can contact them, tell them, and you can tell them something like this: I support a human trust fund in Cambridge. Or if you like it statewide, you say, well, I support the Human Trust Fund statewide. Okay, and that's to your elected officials, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So for contact information in Cambridge, there's a vice mayor, chairman of the Human Service and Veterans Committee, Councilman Mark McGovern, and his email is mmc large case govern at cambridgema.gov, and the city council's email is council at cambridge.gov. I think that's might be cambridge.gov. Okay, and you can also contact the governor's office. That's mass@.gov, and tell them you would like to see homeless trust fund enacted into law. That's on the state level, it's an act of law, and on the local level, it's a public ordinance, okay? Right now, I think we got a few more seconds, and we're gonna get back to Yasmin Mughead. That's, she was opening video, and her series of Journey into Islam, Journeys into Allah. That's Journeys to Allah, okay? The series of Mughead for Voice of Islam TV 14. I'm Hassan Rashid. You know, it's always excellent being here with you, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. So always remember that superior wisdom can never be subjected by inferior wisdom. So until I see you next time, I leave you with the cordial, the ancient Islamic cordial of peace, sanity, goodwill, etc., etc. And that is Assalamu alaikum.
This path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is it about? Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Now, this is a question that a lot of people ask. You know, even atheists ask this question, you know, at some point in their life, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? Where did I come from? Where am I going? A lot of times these questions, people don't know the answer. Do you know your purpose? Do you know what you're doing here? Do you know why were you put here? Allah answers that question. And He says that we have not created jinn and human beings except for one purpose. We have to pay attention to the construction of Allah's statements. In this ayah, Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ. Allah begins this ayah with a sort of negation. That means that, for example, I can say, when I talk about purpose, I can say that the purpose of my trip to New Zealand was to give a lecture today. But that may not be the only purpose. Maybe another purpose of my trip to New Zealand was to take that amazing drive. Maybe another purpose of my trip to New Zealand was to see a friend. Another purpose of my trip to New Zealand was to give a lecture tomorrow. So to say that my purpose of coming to New Zealand is so and so, I've opened it up for other purposes as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we have created jinn and human being. Rather, we have not created jinn and human being for any other purpose. And then Allah introduces the one purpose. That purpose is ubudiyya. Illa liya'budun.